Used to be.
Used to be. Okay, okay. Najua watu wanashindwa nani wanaongea, but before we go to our first guest of the day, remember Battle of the Best, kuna mtu ameitisha already Genget on Love by Marara.
Marara aka Matata.
Na mtu anasema hapendi sailors, so head over pale Twitter, cast your vote. Our Battle of the Best today is between Matata versus sailors.
Yep.
You know what to do. Enda tu pale Twitter. We have a link that will lead you to Twitter through Facebook, so cast your votes now. And our first guest is in studio already. She is Miss World 2020 and she goes by the name Sylvia. She is not only Miss World 2020, akona ma titles kadha wa kadha. She'll be telling us about more about herself and what she champions for and Adina she has plans for us. So welcome to the studio. How are you doing? So kindly introduce yourself.
Like you said, my name is Sylvia Mochabo Raises. I'm currently reading at World. Yes, Miss Africa, and also Miss Elite Face of Africa for 2020. And I'll be going to represent our continent and Kenya in Miss United Nations in Canada. It was supposed to be last month, but then Corona happened. So it's going to be next year in March. So when we call out for voting, please, guys will do that. And and I think I may be reigning for another 1 year because of what happened for Miss Africa. So and I'm a mother of 3.
Really?
Yes, of 3 boys.
Interesting.
And I'm an entrepreneur. I run a company called Tech Hub Holdings, and I have a foundation for special needs children called Andy Speaks for Special Needs Persons Africa. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So all these titles, right? And you're still gonna get more.
Yes.
What led you there?
What led me there, you know, I had like a 5-year plan, right? So I had searched for a session, and we were like, by the time this decade ends, I would like to do all my childhood dreams. You know, those things that everyone tells you is impossible?
Yes.
So one of it was actually I wanted to walk the ramp and be Miss something. But when I tried to do that when I was 19, I was told I am like 2 inches short. You know, when you're going for Miss World, there's actually a height that you have
there's
to
a
be.
height,
So then, and my friend asked me, have you ever thought of it? And I'm like, I'm past that. Then she was like, no, there's actually one which encompasses everyone, misses and all that. Because since I'm a divorcee, there was a slot for that. That's why it's called Elite. I can see your face. That's why it falls. So I was like, I can give it a shot. I had never done modeling before. So it was my first time. And I came back with the 19 awards. And it is the first time it has come to Kenya. Miss Africa, it's always been in AC and stuff like that. So and I broke 2 records, and I was like, yay! So that's how I ended up there. But also I wanted to use it as a platform to continue championing for what I love most, which is neurodevelopmental disabilities. 2 of my boys have autism, so that's why I champion for that.
Okay, we'll get to that, but before we do so, when you get the titles, of course they expect you to give back to the society.
Yes.
So from each title that you got, what is it that you championed for?
Well, all of them have maintained it constant. So I do mentorship, especially for women. I do menstrual hygiene promotion, donating sanitary towels and education for just menstrual hygiene. And topmost now is I fight for the rights of children with neurodevelopmental disabilities.
Yes.
This is cerebral palsy, autism, Down syndrome, learning disabilities, you know, those things that are invisible. Because not many people will actually know a child has an issue. You just brand them something else. And because of also the African culture, and if you look at our policies, as much as we say it is inclusive, the fact is it's not, because they're always left behind. So trying to raise awareness and at the same time try and let people be aware, stop hiding your kids in the house, bring them out, and there is services that actually can give them a near normal life. So that's what I champion most passionate about. And I am a Rotarian also, and as a Rotarian, actually today is World Polio Day. And Africa has been declared polio-free, and we're celebrating that. And that's why I have this lapel here. And polio now, so we're this close to ending it globally.
Very close.
Yes.
Okay, so at the beginning of when there was when they announced the lockdown and everything, I was watching a certain interview of a lady whose son had autism. And she was just talking about how hard it's been for her child. You know, he can't go out, he has to remain extremely sanitary. I mean, very, very clean and such things. And how is it for, how has the pandemic affected people with children who have neurodevelopmental conditions?
It's been tough. I think that lady you're talking about was me.
It was you? No.
Yes, on Citizen, right?
Yes.
Yes,
That
was me.
Okay.
That was me in my crazy normal life, the mommy side, yeah. So it's been crazy, like insane, because children with autism need to be taught things in a specific way. First of all, we're trying to explain something that's not tangible, or they can't see it, they can't understand it. So you see, this is a concept that is not good to them, because they're used to tactile, audio, and visual learning.
Yeah.
That's how they learn best. Then it was very sudden. Like, if I want to change the routine of my son, like they're about to close school, I tell him like 2 weeks in advance.
Yeah.
School will be ending, so that they're prepared. Now, for Corona, it just came boom. We can't go anywhere. They can't go to school. They can't go outside. You can't see big people. And that enclosed space now, like for my last born has ADHD, that is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder.
Yeah.
So that means hyper is there. Then you're telling them, I'm containing you in this
In
space.
one place, yeah. Impossible.
Lord, trust you, me energy levels from wherever it just dwindle to a point you're like, God, please come through. So at least you're forced to find ways of how to adopt that is. So because now you see, when other people can do e-learning, others can do this one for TV that the government did. You see, our children were not considered. So for us, we had to be, their therapy sessions were cut out. That means I had to try and fit all this, right?
Yeah.
So I have to be boss lady in the office, try and figure that out. I have to be mommy, because I have the eldest boy who's a teenager, 14. He has to continue with his school. Then these other two, they have therapy, speech therapy, occupational therapy. So you're trying to now learn new things and trying to teach them. And teaching them is not as easy as it is for a typical child.
Yes.
So you can imagine parents dealing with all of this. And then, of course, there is the economic strife that came with it. And there is a comorbid. A comorbid is a coexisting condition. Most of the persons with neurodevelopmental disabilities, you find either they have another comorbid, either OCD, epilepsy, or convulsive disorders, and many other underlying conditions. So, and mine are on medication. So they have to take medicine every day so they don't convulse. Yes. Because when someone gets convulsions, your brain cells die. And if it takes longer, then a child can die, even an adult. So because convulsions totally disrupt the entire system of the body. It's like being shocked, so you can imagine that. So, and that's one I'm just trying to summarize. So the socio-economic, plus now the learning, plus now health-wise, now access to such things. So it's been very intense for us as caregivers. And you find that, who do you run to? Especially right now, everyone is actually having their own issues. Many have been laid off, and a good number of parents with children with disabilities have been left. So you find you're a single parent. Now utapata, the job they were doing was maybe kuosha nguo and stuff like that. And you know, for us, you find like most of the time you're that one person who's easily to be let go from work. Because you know, we always have, I need time out to go take care of this, I need to take them to therapy, I need to take them to school, you know.
So you're not available all the time.
And then you can't even, and you find, because of the specialty, like a parent who has a cerebral palsy child, you can imagine how delicate that child is. You can't even say you can do the therapy at home, massaging and stuff like, because one wrong move, you can paralyze that child. You can't even break them. So even you can't say, I'll leave my child with the neighbor, because they need to understand. Remember, the kids are being fed care, like special diet and stuff like that. So
it's a lot. I can imagine one parent who has children with no conditions, it's a lot for them. So how are you dealing with that personally?
Personally, I try also remember I am human, because one thing first is acceptance. You accept this is the situation and try and make the best out of it. I've empowered my eldest boy to also support, and also my nanny, so they come through. Like for the first 2 weeks, I send them to my mom, because I have to be not selfish,
need your time.
But
you need your time too.
You need to, because it's not easy. Because like sometimes the child can have a meltdown where they just screaming, because you know they're nonverbal, they can't communicate. So also they could be having sensory what do you call it? A sensory overload, you know, processing, because they process things differently. So maybe it could be sound, light, or texture, or just internal, and they can't, so they react differently.
Yeah.
So I take time out a lot. I love myself.
No, you have to.
You have to
You
do
have
that,
to.
yeah. So that gives you rejuvenation points.
Yes.
Yeah. So we survive like that, and then yeah, just love them. They're the most lovable human beings, by the way, like just amazing. So focus, I always say, see the able and not the label. So I try and focus on their abilities. If you're good at this, so be it, let's do that, you know. And then you involve them in the things that you're doing, especially now during Corona. One of the things that you can do at home is ensuring you involve them in what you're doing, so that they feel part of the family, you know. Then it's feeling like, you know, they get, because you see what they also learn in school is something called ADL, that's activities of daily living, like dressing, you know, them, they need to be taught how to dress. Until now, my 10-year-old needs support to be dressing. Their fine motor skills, there are things you can do at home that will support them. So that's how you try and make it fun, learning and
and the activities, right?
The activities
okay, so who is it that you have partnered with when it comes to championing for children with
the neurodiverse community?
Yes.
We work with different organizations depending on what projects we are having. Like we have an annual ride. The last year we did bicycle ride through 16 counties, but that is our own initiative, yeah. But we get partners at the point, depending on who comes on board. Yeah. Then this year we're supposed to do a motorbike one, like around Nairobi, in and out the entire, you know. But then Corona happened.
Do you ride yourself?
A week before.
Do you ride motorcycles yourself?
I was facing my fears.
Interesting.
Plan. You know, you have to for something to be meaningful. You have to. It has to be a sacrifice.
Yeah, you have to do it yourself.
I am so afraid of motorbikes, I won't even lie, but now I tried, at least I went for a ride before. Those ones I'm like, face your fears. So I did. And it's fun, you know, and it's fun. I'd taken my kids for a motor show, and you know, seeing how they were so excited about bikes and sound, I was like, I think this is something we can do, you know, and it's faster. Partners per se, I work with the National Council of Persons with Disabilities, just trying to get persons with disabilities to be understood, and at the same time they understand us. So you find we'll be called upon on advisory basis. And apart from that, we've worked with Sense International, because they will also look at multisensory disorders. They focus on deaf, blind, but then you see also most of the time, remember I mentioned the comorbid. So you will find that a neurodiverse child will either be hard of hearing sometimes, especially like those with DS, that's Down syndrome, you'll find they have issues with sight or with their hearts and stuff like that. So yeah, multisensory also. So, and then we also call upon partners. If you feel like other organizations, when they have an event and they need our support, we go and support them. Yeah, and we have like children's homes that we also, now as Miss Africa, because I combine the two. I go and support them with the food and clothing and stuff like that. Actually, my kids celebrate their birthdays with either autistic homes, like that. So we make it that there is something we're plugging in the community.
How about, like you said, it takes a lot of energy from the caregiver. What is it that, are there groups, maybe support groups for caregivers?
We have our own, like we have, as Andy speaks for special needs persons, we have a Facebook group. And every Saturday, like today in the afternoon, alternate Saturdays, I host a show called Neuro Digest, where we just educate them, raise awareness, and also bring in specialists to talk to the caregivers. We have a Facebook page, we have, of course, Twitter handles, IG, but we have also WhatsApp groups. So there are several also social media platforms where parents can plug in and learn. Because most of the time you'll find you're trying to do something like as easy as potty training for a normal person. For children are in diapers up until adulthood, some of them. Some learn how to use the potty maybe at 5, 10, depending, you know, because it's not an easy process. So we support each other that way in the different platforms. So you'll find there is one that's all inclusive. You'll find there is one that is for autistic parents, only, Down syndrome parents, and CP. So yeah, the groups are there.
Can you share where people who are going to the same camp, the groups.
The groups.
Yeah, especially one which is all-inclusive.
If they, for us, we do all-inclusive. So someone can go to our Facebook page or even our IGs, Andy Speaks. Twitter, we are Andy Speaks 4. Facebook, it's just Andy Speaks. Andy, that means ANDY. That's the short for my inspiration child is Andrew, so I shortened his name. So, and then also it stands for, it's an acronym for something else. But, so at Andy Speaks for special needs persons, in brackets SNP. So that's on Facebook. You can just DM or drop a message there. Then we can now share the link depending on which specific group you want.
Yeah, you need.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about the dinner that you have in place.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell us a bit about that and what your intentions are.
Okay, so looking at the challenges that we are going through, there is one thing I like focusing on. That is, if you're a person, we are all, I use this statement, we are all in the same storm, that is COVID-19, but we are all in different boats.
Yes.
So you will find like some are in ships where they can survive through it.
Yeah.
Some are in fishing boats. Some are just sailing
Gets
on
rocky.
a plank, you know. So that I want us to have equity in life. Equity meaning meet people at their point of need. Right? So when we did a survey to amongst the groups, and we realized there is 4 things that parents want the most. There is food, there is medication, then there is ETC. All right, those are what the top 2. So when Gava is coming with sanitizer, masks, us, we are not even there. We talk about learning, that's the last thing on my mind, you know. Because if I look at my child, if they don't get their medication, it's a risk of life. So those are 2 crucial things. So those are we've had this project where we've been distributing food, diapers, sanitary towels to, you know, even the girls. You know, people think that because you have a disability, you don't menstruate. They still do. So we were also supplying that, and then now the sanitizers and stuff that we receive. But the one key thing we're doing for this dinner, that is tomorrow night, it's a virtual dinner. Meaning you can join us from anywhere. Yeah. It's going to be 2 to 5, and then per family will come together. And the funds that we're going to be raising, we're going to be channeling them to buy medication for those who need it the most. Yeah. You see, as government is saying the numbers of how many people have COVID, for us in our private spaces, we know how many parents are almost going crazy for this stress. We've lost so many kids. We buried one of our beneficiaries, actually passed on 2 Saturdays ago. You see, we had funds only for like a month's medication. So we were not even able to give everyone on our list. So we're like, okay, can we try and make it like at least a month or 2 supply for everyone we have on our list? I know we can't reach everyone, but we've gone as far as Lamu. We've sent medicine as far as Siaya. We've sent medicine all the way to Isiolo. So you see, the people have the need, but then if they're not in the circles where we're talking about it, they wouldn't know there is support somewhere. So that's why I was saying, like on our platform, you would know, because we posted the link. We have the prescriptions. We're working in partnership with Checkups Medical, so they'll call the doctor, because we can't even afford taking our children for review. One session of review is like 4 or 5. Who can afford that? Yeah, a neurologist, and we have very few neurologists. And on top of that, you find we have therapy, which a session you need like 3 sessions, minimum 1 session a week. At minimum is 1,500 to 4,500, depending on which therapy. So you can imagine all these costs, and those are the things that
they're essential. It's not something you can live without.
Essential, and funny enough, you know, even therapy for our kids is not covered by NHIS. So you can imagine how many parents are struggling. So that's why we're reaching out. At least if we take away one burden, so that they can try and do this others. For therapy, we brought in therapists to explain how parents can do this at home through now the Neurodigest show that I mentioned we host. And at least you see now that one, and it's on our YouTube also. All these lessons, all these specialist interviews and illustrations are available on our YouTube channel, or even my own YouTube channel. They're there. So what else what was the gap? The meds. And that's how we're coming in. So tomorrow we're having dinner. We're going to be having a virtual dinner. It will be like the kawaida, the way we used to. The only thing is now we're not doing gowns and stuff like that. But it's for a good cause. Yes, we will sit together, share and explain, and we'll have also beneficiaries talk to you. This is how this was for me. You know, sharing how and what they've gone through. So we are also asking guys to just support us. Even if you buy meds by 100 bob, that's a day supply for someone. We have an Mchanga. So if you you just go online and write Mchanga, it's there. Then there is the pay bill also for Mchanga. You can just go to the pay bill and make a donation. Not a 50 bob. That's for someone who's on something like Finobab, which is three bob. You see, we utakuwa sort for 1 week. Yeah. So we have like fluctuating needs. Kuna ule mwenye anatumia 30,000 per month. Yes. So we're just asking guys, like for 2,500, you'll be adopting a family for 1 month. Yeah. And maybe now if it's someone whose expense is bigger, then that means we 3 people can come together and sort that person.
And reduce
like
their
10K.
burden.
Yeah, we're just trying to reduce the burdens. We're all going through things, but if we come together, African Ubuntu, I believe we can really make a difference.
Sure.
Yes.
So how can people be part of the dinner?
Be part of the dinner. We have set up the event. It's linked on our page, my page. You can just, if you make a donation, that 25, we will get the notification. Of course, we'll reach out and send you the link for joining the dinner. Yeah. So, and then if that we are having people who are saying, I cannot come for the dinner, but I'll make a donation. So either way. So you don't have to attend the dinner. We would love to have your company, but you can also say, me nikona. So I want to give out this 100 bob. Yeah. Me nikona, 50. I can do 10K. So it's according to what you can. So if you go to Mchanga and just type Andy. Andy, it will bring for you our project. Then you can make the donation there, and we will reach out because we'll be able to get access to your contacts.
Could you kindly share your social media handles and also the YouTube channel where people can join in to the conversations?
So my personal one is Twitter is Mora Sylvia, at Mora Sylvia. For the organization, it's at Andy Speaks 4, number 4. For IG, it's Sylvia Mochabo. For Andy Speaks, it's Andy Speaks, just as it is. On Facebook, mine is still the same. My full name, Sylvia Mora Mochabo. If you want to follow now the Miss Africa one, it will be Miss Mochabo, Miss Africa Elite 2020. For Andy Speaks, it's Andy Speaks for Special Needs Persons, in brackets SNP. That's the group. So you will request, and then we'll also accept. And then I know there is a page also, same name. We haven't changed. YouTube, same thing, Sylvia Mora Mochabo, my personal one. And for the organization, it's Andy Speaks for Special Needs Persons. So there you will find all the interviews, all the learning materials. If it's something like autism you don't understand, we've done clips over there to just illustrate what it is. And we'll be glad to have all of you come and join us and support. And I think I can give the pay bill number, right? I can give the pay bill number. Let me get the e-shot for that. So that way you find, if we come together one at a time,
it's easier for...
It's way easier. There is the e-shot. I don't know if you had it. If you had it, you would have just shown it. So our pay bill is 328871. So if you're attending the dinner, you can just write your name so that at least we RSVP. But if you just want to donate, you can write meds. Account is meds that way. Then the Mchanga one is 891300. The account is Andy SNP. So it's the same thing. So you can either use Mchanga. For Mchanga, it's open because you can do from Airtel, from, it doesn't matter. You don't have to have a Safaricom, if you want to swipe, if you want to pay through PayPal, so it gives you all options. That's why we're focusing more. Just go online, say Mchanga.
That is.
There you go. Yes. So thank you. So then we have our pay bill there. And we will appreciate your support.
So thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you, my dear.
We appreciate your time, and we wish you all the best in your campaigns. And we hope to see more change when it comes to these issues. Slowly
but surely, we're going to get there. That's for sure. And thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So any final word to caregivers out there and people who are going through something similar?
Yes, so to my fellow parents and caregivers, what I always want to say, and always telling the rest of parents, never take it like a burden. Look at it like a learning point. God knows why he gave you this child. He'll give you the energy and the grace to be able to take care of the child. Embrace them. Acceptance is the first thing, because that's where it all starts. You accept your child for who they are. You know, a child is not like an item from the supermarket you can return to sender.
Yeah.
This is what you have. Embrace it. Love that baby, and they will love you back and teach you things you have no idea about. I was so impatient. Trust you me, I'm the most patient person right now. Because God uses them to enrich your life. So just focus on that. I know there are days you feel tired, I can't do this no more. Just take a step back when you get to that point, re-energize, and then go back, because you cannot give from an empty cup.
Yes.
And also support others, join others, so that you don't feel alone, and we share experiences. So yeah, together we can do better,
of
a
course.
step at a time.
Thank you so much once again, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Yes, as you have heard from Sylvia, together we can. We are taking a short musical break.